If you're wondering what the 2018 recruiting class looked like for Syracuse football, we have it for you. Joe's locked in. Let's go.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to episode 57 of the Cuse Nation podcast. If you could please subscribe to whatever platform you listen on, that would really help us out, and we'll be in your library as soon as an episode is published. We really appreciate that. This is a football-only episode in between breaks. You can, in fact, as of the time of this recording, go back to episode 56. It's still relevant on the post-Louisville and the preview for Wake Forest. It's still available, obviously. You can go check that out, too. But this is all football. 2018 recruiting class. Joe, what's up, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on, buddy?
Joe's excited. This is his deal. He loves some Syracuse football, and this is, in over 10 years, probably their best recruiting class. So
yeah, well, football overall. So yeah,
right. Do you want to just jump right in? You have anything to start with, or what?
Well, just like you said to start. All these numbers and stuff I'm going to throw out there, it's based off 247 Sports rankings. So I'm just going to throw that out there, and we're looking at a class that right now is ranked 50th in the country and 9th in the ACC, and that is only with 18 scholarships. The max scholarships usually in a class you can have is 25, and depending on how many scholarships you have available, it depends on that. But with having only 18 scholarships and being ranked up where we are, I could say that without a doubt, like what Mike McAllister said and what everyone's been saying, is this is definitely the best recruiting class here for a while. Yeah,
so kind of exciting, and Babers was happy. He's stoked about it, and it's going to allow him to be a little bit more versatile and with still a young team. So, all right, Joe. Chance of Me, quarterback, 6'3", 191 pounds, from Robert E. Lee High School in Tyler, Texas. What do you got?
He was a 3-star, ranked the 26th overall dual threat quarterback in the country. He enrolled early. He is in Syracuse right now, taking classes in the spring. He was interesting because Dino Babers, he talks about how he always wants to get at least one quarterback every cycle, and we didn't get any of the ones we wanted. And 8 months ago, we were recruiting him, and he committed to Houston. After that, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach from Houston actually left for a job in Florida, and so he opened up his recruitment, took a visit to Syracuse, and he committed there. So we ended up getting one of the quarterbacks that we wanted from the beginning, and so it's a good addition to what we have right now as far as quarterback. He's the only quarterback in this class. So,
all right, running back Akeem Dixon, 6 foot, 235 pounds, from Vero Beach, Florida High School. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's going to be a theme because a majority of the people in this class, or players in this class, are ranked 3-star in 247. But he is a running back, 76th ranked running back overall. He verbally committed in May. He chose us over Louisville and Purdue. The only reason he didn't enroll early was because he was having some issues with the academics and getting in. But between December and now, he's got that fixed. So he committed on National Signing Day, one of 3. So, yeah.
All right.
First running back.
And he's a top 100 recruit?
No, he's number 76 running back overall in the class.
Running back. Okay, yes. I got you. All right. Jarvion Howard, running back, 5'10", 202 pounds, out of East Marion High School in Columbia, Mississippi. What do you got?
Again, 3-star. He's ranked the 36th running back overall, and he chose SU over offers from Tennessee and Mississippi State, among others. A kid from Mississippi, and he's a hard worker. I watched a couple videos that they had. He's very, very good kid, humble kid, works really hard. And just like the Akeem Dixon, these two running backs, they're, 5'10", 5'11", but 200 plus pounds. Akeem Dixon, 235. Jarvian Howard's like 205, 210. So those guys, they got really good vision, and the two running backs committed to our class, and it's looks like pretty good additions to what we have right now. So,
and that was it for the running backs. Started the wide receivers. Edward Hendricks, 6'3", 185 pounds, out of Woodson HD, whatever the hell HD is, Washington, D.C. What is that? That's supposed to be their school. What is HD?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, anyway, out of Washington, D.C.
Yes, this is the best receiver ranked that we got in this class. He's a 3-star, ranked number 77 wide receiver overall. He was one of the more coveted wide receivers from the D.C. area. He had offers from Louisville, Michigan State, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. I mean, he was like, again, highly coveted. He does need to add some strength because he is kind of skinny for his size, but again, 6'3", he can go up and get the ball. He's fast.
He's going to be fast, yeah.
So, like, this is going to be one of those things. We had 4 receivers in this class, and he was the top ranked one, and that's the first one. So.
Wide receiver Taj Harris, 6'2", 175 pounds, out of Palmyra High School in Palmyra, New Jersey.
Yep, another 3-star. He was ranked 125th wide receiver. And again, with those, with the receiver rankings, you have to kind of look at it as perspective of how many receivers play in, Division I and stuff like that. So that's still pretty good talent. He chose us over offers from Temple, NC State, Rutgers, and Maryland. And again, just one of those tall, kind of fast receivers with some stride and can go up and get the ball. He's 6'2", Ed Hendricks 6'3". Those are the type of guys that they're trying to recruit for the outside receiver spot in his Babers offense. So we're gonna see a lot of recruits every year just like that. So,
all right, wide receiver Cooper Lutz. 5'11", 190 pounds, out of Berks Catholic in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. Again, a 3-star. He wasn't really getting that many looks coming out of his junior year because he missed 8 games due to injury, but he's ranked the 286th wide receiver. And I know that sounds bad, but in his high school in Pennsylvania, he actually excelled. He played running back and safety. If you go and look at his stats as a running back, I mean, those were his positions. So he is being recruited from Syracuse to play the slot receiver spot, and he kind of looks like a perfect fit. And just one of those things where, in this instance, rankings really don't mean that much because it's just one of those things where it's more of a perfect fit for a system. And he's a good kid. A couple of he didn't get too many looks as far as offers because he was pretty solid with Syracuse. But he did have offers from Army and Navy, so he's a high-character kid, smart, not going to have to worry about academics. So hopefully he ends up working out. So, I mean, you watch his tape, he kind of looks like a mini Christian McCaffrey. So,
all right, last wide receiver, Anthony Quealy, 6'2", 195 pounds, out of Lake Nona, Orlando, Florida.
Yes. He's another 3-star, 161st wide receiver ranking. He came up to Syracuse this past summer for a camp, and he impressed them. He was beating all the D-backs, by far the best wide receiver there, and they offered him, I think, the next day, or it might have been the same day. And although he did field offers later in the recruiting process from Minnesota and Duke, among some other smaller Power 5 teams, he stayed solid with Syracuse. Since that camp, it was pretty much, it was a match and it wasn't going to change. So, again, another 6'2", 195-pound guy. You can see with this class, he went 3 guys with around, 6'2", 6'3", 190, 195 pounds. You're going to have to get bigger and, obviously mentally learn the system. But I like the group of guys they got. So, 4 wide receivers, stacking up with the way they play their offense. So, you always want to see that.
Yep. Next up, tight end Gabe Horan, 6'6", 260. C.W. Baker in Baldwinsville, New York.
Yeah. This is
hometown hero.
Yeah, hometown guy. He did have offers from Boston College in Buffalo, but I don't think he was never going to waver. He was one of the first commits, and again, like we said, hometown guy, 3-star. He was actually on 247 Sports. He's ranked 116th offensive tackle. So
they got him.
They look at him as either an offensive tackle or a tight end. I think though they might give him a look at tight end at first because we are kind of deep as far as offensive line and young. So who knows how much he's going to be able to break through. So they'll probably give him a go at tight end. But if he's not going to be able to handle it there, then they'll turn him into an offensive lineman. And again, one of the better players in the state of New York. So that was a pretty good grab for us.
All right, offensive guard Carlos Vitorino, University of Detroit Jesuit in Detroit, 6'4", 277.
Yep, another guard, ranked 37th offensive guard in the class, and he actually was being really, really like highly recruited during his junior year. He was really good as a sophomore and a junior, and for some reason, and I haven't been able to find any news on it, but for some reason his recruiting kind of fell off. I don't know if maybe he was just playing with a better talented team, and I really don't know. But he was offered by Boston College and Pitt and some other low-end Big Ten schools. So, but by his ranking and what they talk about, the coaching staff thinks it's a steal. So he got overlooked. And just another offensive lineman just adds to the bunch.
All right, offensive tackle Willem Fromme, 6'5", 290 pounds, Exeter High School, Exeter, New Hampshire.
Yes, this is those guys that Babers talks about when you listen to his press conference and talking about owning the Northeast. Northeast is tough because it's not really looked at as highly competitive football. It's not a lot of spring stuff going on. Down south schools, they got a lot of that stuff going on. So there's a lot of diamonds in the rough, but it's tough to get recruited, tough to get seen. This kid, again, just like Anthony Quealy, the receiver, he came to a camp this summer, and he impressed, and the coaching staff offered him in the spot, and he was, again, one of those other one of the first guys that verbaled. So he never really wavered and never really. I mean, I know he had some other offers, but he was Cuse all the way. Another 3-star and ranked 144th offensive tackle. So again, just another guy to add to the stable of linemen, you know. So
yeah, and here's another one, offensive tackle Kadir White, 6'7", 334 pounds, just a big dude. Cardinal Hayes out of the Bronx.
Yep, another 3-star in this on 247 Sports, but I think he's ranked a 4-star in either Scout or ESPN. But number 4 recruit in the state of New York, and he was offered by very, very high-level teams from SEC and other Power 5 teams. I know I saw Georgia and a couple other SEC and Florida State. He got offered by a lot of, you see the size, and they just say how he's probably not going to be able to help us in the first year, but what his ranking and his number is it's crazy potential. He's athletic for his size. He's crazy athletic. It's just more or less
down low. Oh, that weight.
Oh yeah. He's 28th overall offensive tackle, and he was getting recruited by a lot of big schools. And again, he's probably going to have to learn. I guess a lot of what he's got to learn is technique and staying low because the guy is 6'7". So, but again, he's probably one of the studs of the class, and hopefully in a year or two he'll be able to be that left tackle and anchor that offensive line for Tommy DeVito.
All right, defensive end Caleb Okechukwu. Sound familiar a little bit, kind of? 6'4", 240 pounds.
Yeah.
St. John's College High School out of Washington, D.C.
Yep. Another 3-star, ranked the 76th strong side defensive end in the class. And he chose us on National Signing Day over Texas and Arkansas. He was Under Armour All-American. And he's got, again, one of those guys where the coaching staff is talking about how he's got crazy potential, but he might have to sit a year to gain a little bit of weight, get a little bit of muscle. But again, it was a great pickup, especially on National Signing Day. So,
All right, our first linebacker, Juan Wallace, 6'2", 215, IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah. This guy's a stud. 3-star, number 43 inside linebacker. He was an early enrollee, so he's on campus already taking classes. Chose Syracuse over Maryland at the time, was one of the more higher suitors. But as the season went on, and as the recruiting process went on, Georgia, they came in late and they offered a scholarship late, but he stayed committed to Syracuse because he wanted to be an early enrollee, and it was just a little too late. So definitely, I mean, if Georgia came in late and offered him a scholarship, then I'm glad to have him.
All right, linebacker Trey Allison, 6'1", 212 pounds. John Tyler, Texas, another Tyler, Texas guy coming in.
Yep.
He recruits a lot out of Texas. He's got ties into Texas, so.
Yep. He does. He coached at Baylor, so he knows some high schools down there. But Trey Allison, 3-star, number 55 offensive lineman in the class, and earlier in the year he had verbal to SMU, and the coach, they'd left. He got a job, opened up his recruitment, and visited Syracuse, and pretty sure he committed right after the visit, and it's been pretty quiet since then. I mean, there hasn't really been any talk. He was Syracuse 100% all the way, and again, just another guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to come in and play this year. Dino Babers, he's definitely made a couple comments as far as with the last year and the last couple of years of recruits and people he has. He feels like the depth is pretty good, and you're going to have to be pretty good to play this year if you're a freshman. And I just don't know if he's got the strength, but you never know. But definitely a good get, again, just to add the depth to the linebacker position. So.
Yep, last linebacker, Lakeem Williams, 6'2", 240 pounds, out of Butte College in Oroville, California.
He is a junior college guy. He was ranked the number 6 offensive linebacker in junior college, 20th overall in the junior college ranking, is 3-star. He chose us over Cal in Houston. He is an early enrollee, so he did sign in December, and he is at Syracuse taking classes already. And as you see, that type of size right there, I don't know how many years he had. I mean, I don't know if he was only there for 1 year, if he's going to be a sophomore. I mean, if he's got 2 or 3 years left. But I do know, as you can see, 6'2", 240. That's a stout guy.
Yeah, it's stout.
And that's why I said something about Trey Allison maybe not having, but the guys that we do have, it's been there the past couple of years, and then you throw in this guy who's a JUCO with that kind of size. Again, it just gives us a little bit of a breather to where we can allow some players to come in and develop and not force them into playing when they might not be physically ready to. So.
All right, safety, Cameron Jonas, 6'1", 187, out of Dwyer High School in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Yes. He's a 3-star, number 47 safety, and to be perfectly honest with you, if you looked at his ranking last year after his junior year, it was better than this. He got injured before his senior year this year, and he had a lot of he was getting looked at by a lot of big Power 5 schools, and he got injured, and a lot of them backed off. Syracuse didn't, and he rewarded our coaching staff for that. This kid is better than what his ranking is, and he's an early enrollee. He's at school. He's going to be there in the spring. The way that technology and the way that people come back from these injuries now, I'm not really worried about him coming back. So this is one of the guys that looks like one of the biggest steals as far as I'm concerned. Not if you look at the rankings, but the fact of just he's only there because of an injury. And it's unfortunate for him, but at the same time, it's fortunate for us. So hopefully it'll end up working out for the both of us.
Yeah, another safety, another player out of IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida, Andre Cisco, 6', 186.
Yes, number 3-star, number 74 safety in the class, and he again an early enrollee. He's enrolled. He's up in Syracuse taking classes. He chose Syracuse over Nebraska and Illinois. This is an interesting guy, though. They say that he's got a lot of potential. Because of where he played in high school, in his junior year, he sat behind a lot of D1 recruits and players, seniors ahead of him, and that tends to happen when you play in state full of a hotbed of recruits, but he didn't really have a lot of offers at all going into his senior year, if any, and because that he turned into the starter his senior year, he definitely took advantage of the situation, and you saw Nebraska, Illinois, us. So again, I don't think that he's got to the best of his ability. He hasn't even been a starter enough to do so. So in 1 year, he proved that he can play D1. So again, probably come in red shirt, but hopefully down the road he's going to be able to help us.
All right, and the last one, 18 out of 18, is Trill Williams, 6'2", 190, out of Archbishop Stamenik in White Plains, New York.
Yes.
They got Trill just listed as an athlete. He can play any position.
Yeah, well, that is one thing. There are a lot of players in this conference in this recruiting class where it's they could play multiple. When I talked about the positions and what they are, it's just what we're recruiting them as and what 247 Sports has them ranked as.
Right.
But we did get a class full of athletes that play both sides of the ball pretty well, and Trill Williams is pretty much the cherry on top as far as this recruiting class is concerned. He had an injury in his junior year, so he didn't really have a recruiting process his junior year. He was number 3 recruit in the New York State. So we had number 3 and number 4 as far as New York State. 1 and 2 went to Ohio State, of course. But he was ranked the number 20th athlete overall. Is recruiting him as a cornerback. But he's got the athletic ability to play probably 4 or 5 different positions. He after his injury, after his junior year, he prematurely verbal to Rutgers because he was nervous that because of his injury, he might not get another offer. And when he realized that was not the case, he reopened his recruitment and visited a couple other schools, Boston College, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and he eventually committed to Syracuse. And again, he ended up having such a good senior year that he boosted his stock up to a number 4-star, and he is, according to 247 Sports, the only 4-star that we have in this recruiting class. So nice to get a guy that normally would probably go to a bigger school, because those bigger schools come and pawn off New York athletes, and to get to number 3 and number 4 recruits from New York State this year is a big win for us. So
a lot of freshmen coming in after having kind of a young team, something to build on. Coach Babers was asked about that in his press conference. This is what he had to say.
You just mentioned you played a lot of freshmen your first couple of years. How much does this class kind of help? You don't have to maybe play those freshmen and kind of get that depth that you were talking about.
Mark, I think you're exactly right. This is kind of the break class right here, and we've got good players on the team. And these guys the freshmen have to really come in and show that they're going to contribute for them to be able to play. If not, then they're going to, what I mean by they're the break class, these are the guys who are going to start redshirting and building up that foundation and building up that depth chart. So they need to be really good if they're going to play this year.
There he's talking about basically, if you look at it, from the 30,000-foot view, still a new coach, still building his team, just starting to see some of the fruits of what he's doing there. So pretty interesting in my opinion,
Yeah.
He's finally getting his guys when he first started getting there, starting to get a little older, he's really starting to build it. And it takes time. And this is a good recruiting class. Like you said, I think you said it was top 50 nationally.
It was as 50 right on the dot.
Right at 50
and
nationally.
Again, we still have 3 scholarships remaining to boost, the class up, as far as from now until.
What would you look for, Joe? What would you look for? I mean, running back.
Well, there's a couple things. Right now, Jawar Jordan, he's a running back out of Arizona, and he's number 19 all-purpose back right now, 3-star, and he's pretty much committed 110% to Syracuse. It's just he would have committed on Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever National Signing Day was, but he is waiting on some grades and the whole academic qualifying stuff. So he's going to have up till the summer to get that done. And from everything that I've seen, it's essentially just kind of a blip in the radar, and it's inevitable. So they're already kind of marking him as a scholar, as the 19th guy. So,
Okay.
Barring anything crazy, Jawar Jordan, another running back, more of a smaller, pass catch and speed back like a Mo Neal, Dante Strickland type. From what I understand, he's going to be oranges, barring some type of disaster with his grades. We did have another guy we were looking at, Dwayne Johnson, D-back out of a junior college. He is kind of prolonged his recruitment. He was set to commit on National Signing Day, and he decided on National Signing Day to say that he wasn't going to commit anywhere that day. And because he's junior college, he has a little bit more time. But that's another guy that would definitely bolster up the recruiting class. And then another interesting one is Kevin Johnson Jr., which is it's weird because they were talking about how he committed to Syracuse, and he's actually enrolled in Syracuse right now. He's taking classes in Syracuse. He was a 2-star, number 387th receiver, and obviously everybody knows and remembers Kevin Johnson Sr. now, the receiver that played with McNabb and went on to have a pretty good NFL career from Syracuse. So
That's his son?
yeah, it's his son. Yeah.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
And he played at IMG Academy as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, and
A lot of
right
guys
now,
coming out of there. They pump out some athletes, huh?
yeah, and they as far as right now, like I said, he's enrolled, but I guess he's enrolled as a walk-on. Obviously, I mean, with his dad playing in the NFL,
Yeah.
pretty sure he's probably not too worried about money. But he was said to have been offered by Colorado, and Florida was showing a little bit of interest. So it's not like he didn't have a place where he could get a scholarship. So again, I don't know if he's going to be awarded a scholarship or if his father is just going to pay his way, and I don't really know. But as far as right now goes, I know that he's on campus taking classes, and he's listed as a walk-on right now.
Well, if he's good enough, he should get his scholarship, unless they've,
Oh, 100%. I think it just might be one of those situations where their father might just think, hey,
I'll help you out type thing. He went to school there, and
I'll help you out. I'll pay his way so you open up another scholarship. Who knows? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But again, with these extra scholarships, from what I understand, probably just going to go, the junior college or our graduate senior route. A lot of times, graduate seniors, just like Amba Adetawa a couple of years ago, they kind of wait to see where the dominoes fall and who goes where, and to see where really the openings are to where they're going to go and actually get playing time. You know what I mean? So that's probably where we're going to go if we do have scholarships. Probably Babers and the coaching staff will get together. They'll see where they think they need to improve, or they'll try to get best available. But I wouldn't be surprised if we at least have one scholarship remaining that goes to a graduate senior. Not going to say what position, but it might be receiver.
Another receiver.
Yeah, no, I mean, we did.
That'd be
and
5.
Again, and one of the things that go against our scholarships as well, because usually you get the max 25 scholarship, but we did have those 2 transfers, the former 4-star recruits that are going to have 2 years eligibility. Tristan Jackson, the receiver from Michigan State, and Abdul Adams, the running back from Oklahoma. Those guys, I think they're counting toward our scholarship, and they're going to be going to school, but they have to sit out this year. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have close to 25 scholarships like normal. But again, I think in 2 years, I think we're going to be happy that we waited for them and got them. So.
All right. Well,
it'll be interesting to see how we fill these last 3 spots, but I think Jawar Jordan's going to be one, and we'll see what happens with those graduate seniors. But again, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Johnson Jr. doesn't get awarded a scholarship by the time it's all said and done. So,
yeah, and like you said, it's definitely it would probably most likely be a something that was worked out. But I mean, I guess it could be. It's total speculation. But anyway,
Right.
just to put things into a little bit of perspective here on the, they came out with the spending for every school, and you can compare any SU sport with any other school in the nation. Syracuse's spending on their football program alone is $22 million. You might be like, oh, that's a ton of money. Well, it is a ton of money, but...
Well, yeah, to us.
Right. But number one in the ACC alone is Florida State, and they spend $48.3 million a year on their football program, and I believe they're ranked second nationally, and number one, of course, is Alabama. They spend $62.3 million a year on their football program, and also...
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's a ton. Because when you put that into perspective, Joe, with how much Syracuse spends on all their athletic programs, from start to finish, the whole athletic department for the whole entire year.
All the sports, every single one. It's like low 71 million, okay? And you might be, that's a ton of money. But their revenues were about 20 million. So Syracuse sports actually... They make about $20 million. Well, no, they did this past year, which was a record year for them, making $20 million in revenue. After spending low 70s, they came out with like 90 something. So it was just under $20 million. It's like 19 million and something. But just to put things into perspective, that 70 something million to 62 million for Alabama football.
Alabama football, yeah.
Just football.
Just football, dude.
Yeah. Well, it shows.
Exactly, right?
Money talks.
yeah, but I mean, look at all their other programs, you know? I mean, their basketball program's decent. Actually, their basketball program ain't half bad this year, but they pride themselves on their football.
I don't know how they do with baseball and stuff like that, but they're a football school, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what else, too? I consider Syracuse, and always have considered Syracuse, a basketball school, and our football program spends $22 million, and our basketball program spends $13.
And our basketball program probably makes more.
Oh, I would guarantee it. What was our largest crowd for football? It was the Clemson game. It was like 24,000. Remember?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we just pulled 27 at the UVA game.
Yeah.
So for basketball, plus there's more games and there's more home games. So there's definitely more revenue coming in from that. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but I just thought it was interesting.
If only there was more money in lacrosse.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But you know, that just goes to show too how good our lacrosse team has been in the past.
Do they have like a ranking of all the teams? Like, could you go into like the football and see like where they're ranked about all the D1 teams in football?
You could go check any school. This was all at Syracuse.com. And you can go and check this where I got that information from was an article headline Syracuse Athletic Reports Record Revenues, How Much Does SU Spend on Each Sport? And it gives SU's breakdown. There's another article either right before that or right after that on the timeline at Syracuse.com where you can go to it, type in any school, and find out exactly what they spend on all their programs. So you can compare anything. But,
okay.
Yeah, you got to do a little legwork. So
Yeah.
that's too much. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. So, all right, Joe, any final thoughts on the recruiting class?
No, I obviously, I mean, I think it's a good one. I think it's all about what, like Baber said, traditionally you don't want true freshmen coming in, you know. From what I understand, I mean, that whole star system of, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, everything like that, from what I understand, it's more like who's more ready to play. You know what I mean? So when you see a 5-star, it's more or less like they're just more ready to play. It's more like a physical thing. And with 3 stars, that's basically what makes up college football. 2 and 3 stars make up college football. And it's what happens from there. Is a 3-star good enough? So every now and again, yes, absolutely. But a 2 and a 3-star, that just means there's potential. You just need to get bigger. You just need to figure stuff out, And this class and his classes before have given him put him in a situation where he can take advantage of the red shirts, and he doesn't have to just throw people in there because he needs bodies. we have a little bit of depth now. We redshirted a lot of guys last year, and
Building
albeit
them
the
up.
next couple, I mean, next year we're probably going to start or play a lot of redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores, players like that. But just to be able to get that depth, I mean, it's going to be there now. Now we have it. So
Right. Exactly.
And again, I think you see a lot of what he talked about as well. It's just with the players that he got, lengthy receivers, more length as far as safeties go. And if you look at the linebackers and their size, just they're way bigger than what, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Paris Bennett or anything away from Zaire Franklin. But them coming in, Zaire Franklin's 6 foot. Paris Bennett, he's 6'3", but he's 215. I mean, the guys that we're bringing in are already bigger and stronger than that. So it's just more or less getting them out there, getting the system in their head, and I like it, man. I'm excited. You know me,
All right,
football.
yeah,
I'm excited.
You're excited. I'm not even thinking football right now. I've got the whole
I know.
summer to relax and chill at the beach and by the pool and go fishing. So you're way ahead of me, but you did a great job breaking everything down. I appreciate you coming in and doing it. Obviously, we're going to be back after Wake Forest, so be on the lookout for that. So this is your recruiting episode 57. Remember, go to facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast. Thumb us up there. The list of recruits, if you're interested, is on. I did post it to the Facebook page, so that is there, and that is all. So we will see you after Wake Forest. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out. Later.
Peace.
You just heard the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe.